Welcome to Toffee TV. Here is the match reaction. Everton 1, Newcastle United 4 at Hill Dickinson Stadium tonight. And what an absolutely woeful performance from Everton. Talk about coming down to earth with a bang after the joy and jubilation of winning at Old Trafford on Monday. Everton were brought back down to earth with a bang today, and I haven't really got any complaints. Newcastle were the better side. Everton were turned in comfortably by some distance as well. Their worst performance of the season. Defensively, absolutely woeful defensive performance, and they got well beaten in the end. And that's the way it is. The squad isn't strong enough. We know that. I think we didn't buy what we needed in the summer. I do think some of the signings were fine, but I do think we missed a quick play. But there's no pace in the side anywhere, and that's an issue. And you know, when you lose players, you just can't. They simply can't cope, and that's what happened today. There was a few people who were claiming we wouldn't miss Idrissa Gana Gueye. Well, there's the future without Idrissa Gana Gueye tonight. You saw it, and it's going to be a long time until he's available for us. I'm able to come back in and do the job that he does, because nobody quite simply gets anywhere near him in our team to do that job. So Everton are going to have to be busy. I think they're going to have to bring players in January. The owners are going to have, or the board rather, are going to have to sanction some transfers in January, that's for sure. We lost, obviously, Idrissa to the ban, so Tim Adebunam came into the side. Everywhere else was as it was. Obviously, Jake O'Brien played most of the game the other night at Old Trafford and stayed in at right back. And we started the game in the worst possible fashion. Absolutely awful start of the game. Michael Keane getting dragged out of position totally on the halfway line, getting spun, and we were in trouble. And Alanga ran on, shot. Pickford's got a hand to it, pushed it round the post for the corner. We know we can't defend corners or score off corners. And the ball got curled in, and Thiago's got a free header into the net. And we're 1-0 down inside the minute, and the worst possible start against a team that hadn't won an away game. In fact, lost 4 of its 5 away games. We're ahead. But Everton responded okay, to be fair, but quite a bit of pressure. We got in 3 or 4 times, but our final ball is awful. The amount of times we got in behind them and couldn't find an Everton shirt when it's a square pass to 3 players was really poor. Newcastle defended well, got blocks in when we eventually did try to work a shooting opportunity. But it was a more positive response. And then we give another poor goal away. A ball into the box. Jake O'Brien just needs to react and clear it for a throw-in, and he doesn't. He hesitates, takes too long, and for some reason just smashes it into the south stand. Really, you know, he could do miles better than what he did. Give a corner away. We panic off the corner and can't defend it, but Newcastle did get lucky. There's a shot that's going by the corner flag. It's kept alive by one of their players, and it rolls back to the edge of the box. The shot comes in, and Jordan Pickford, you know, I don't know what he's doing. Kids goalkeeping. You know, under 5's goalkeeping performance from Jordan off that shot. Went through his hands and bounced in against the only team he probably wouldn't have ever wanted to make that mistake against. But it's not going to go in on him because he was outstanding at Manchester United the other night with that save. But it was a poor error, and he knows that. And we're 2-0 down, and it was game over. For a team that doesn't score goals, it was game over, wasn't it? In fact, a lot of people got up and went and had a drink and everything, you know, and had a little bit of a break that way. Again, we just couldn't get going after that. You know, there'd been a really good response from the first goal. It was flat. It was absolutely flat, you know, and there was no sort of real way we looked like we were going to get back into it from there. And then when you're looking to get in at half-time, and you're thinking, all right, get in, reset. Maybe if you get an early goal with the crowd, you might be able to put them under pressure. We then go and concede a 3rd goal right in half-time. And Tim Adebunam has got to do so much better. So just a ball pumped down the line, which he should deal with. And he doesn't. And he lets it bounce over him, and the lad comes round the back of him, and he's totally out of position. They play the ball forward, and Walter Marday runs, clips it over Pickford, and it bounces in. And It's into the net and it's 3-0 and it is 100% game over then. I was shocked. I thought the manager would make 2 or 3 changes at the break, but he didn't. He just brought Charlie Alcaraz on for Irabunum. It was a very unsurprising substitution, shall we say, based on the performance in the first half. Alcaraz was nice and bright. Probably should have really, when you look at it, we probably should have been more confident in our own ability to go at Newcastle. He probably should have started the game with hindsight because he was quite lively. He hit the crossbar at 3-0. A ball come out to him and he smashed it against the bar. We did a post off a corner. Should have had a penalty, handball by Harvey Barnes, which some VAR decided they didn't see, but couldn't wait to see later on a handball in it. But in all truth, Newcastle defended comfortably enough. Whenever we did sort of get in behind, our final ball was dreadful. Absolutely dreadful. So, you know, and they broke and got a 4th goal. You know, corner, come in, we defended that, it come out. No one goes out to stop the cross because we're just not doing that. Ball in the box. It's a free header inside the 6-yard box. I'm looking at my goalkeeper on that one. I haven't seen it again. But anything inside the 6-yard box, he's surely got to be coming for. But defensively, why aren't we marking people? And it was 4-0. And at that stage, you're thinking it could be any score, this. Because we were all over the place. We really were. Defensively, I haven't seen us that bad under David Moyes since he come back. It was atrocious. We did get a goal back, or we thought we got a goal back. Tierno Barry thought he had this moment. Ball down the line, a cross into the penalty area. He brings it down, mishits it. But it goes into the corner of the net and he's absolutely delighted, as you'd expect it. His first goal in English football, and then VAR jump in. Of course they do. And he's humble. I haven't seen it again, and I'm quite sure, they've looked at him, quite sure it's hit his hand. And he's unlucky, and you do have that feeling right now with Tierno that it's just not going to happen for him. But he's got to keep his head up and keep believing. That's 2 home games on the run. He's had a goal disallowed when he thought he scored. So he's just got to keep going and see, it'll break. You know, we made changes, brought people on. But we scored a great goal, to be fair. James Tarkowski, long ball forward. Dewsbury Hall, wonderful first touch. Spun and just clipped it past the keeper. It was a brilliant goal, and it's one of those goals that, had that been in a game that Everton would have won or drew, it would have been a goal that everyone would have sort of talked about, and it'd have been given sort of more credence to it. In a 4-1 defeat, it'll be forgotten. Easily forgotten. Jordan Pickford made a couple of saves with his legs that he should save to stop it getting any worse, but I think it's a big look in the mirror for a lot of players tonight. Defensively, every one of them defensively tonight was miles away from what they've performed at, miles away. The goalkeeper, obviously, we can sort of allow him that one, but that has to be it. I just think all over the place. I think Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall was probably the best player for Everton on the pitch. He never stopped, and he didn't even have as good a game as he has, but he took his goal really well and never stopped running, really. Barry done a lot of work, but everything he's doing right now is outside the box, and we need him to be a threat inside. Everybody else was just off it. And it was set, the tone was set in the opening minute. You start a game like that poorly, it's really hard to dig yourself back in, and then you go and concede arguably an even worse goal, the second one. Then it's just too big a mountain to climb. Newcastle are a good side. People talking about them this week in the build-up as if they're a relegation side or whatever. They're in the Champions League. They're a good side. They just hadn't started very well away, and teams are taking advantage, defended properly against them. You get opportunities. We got in quite a few times, and it was our final ball. It was rubbish. Other teams have punished them for that. We couldn't. And they obviously grew into the game, but I think you give most teams that kind of lead, it's difficult to turn around. But it is a look in the mirror. It's a look in the mirror for the manager as well. He should be really worried about that performance from the team, because they were miles away from it. And that'll give him some real food for thought. And like you say, the checkbook's going to have to come out in January to bring in some players that we need. Bit of pace in the side, legs, energy in the team. And a bit of balance as well. But really disappointing, but no complaints, because Newcastle were a better side. So there you go, man of the match. Dewsbury Hall for me. There you go. See you later.